Hi, my name is Fiona. I'm a student attorney with the Immigration Clinic of the George Washington University Law School. If you or a loved one are at risk of deportation, these are three things that you should prepare in advance. First, contact an immigration attorney. Second, prepare documents related to your medical needs. Third, make childcare arrangements. You should consult with an immigration attorney if you are in danger of removal.
Hi, I'm Professor Vera, and today we'll be talking about how to put together your emergency preparedness plan.
Professor Vera, if I'm in danger of removal, what are some steps I can take before I encounter ICE?
That's an excellent question, Fiona. So something I always recommend is to get your important documents together. So that can include things like birth certificates, marriage certificates, other forms of identification. If you have had any sort of interaction with the immigration system, you will have an A number. So an A number starts with the letter A, that's why it's called the A number, and it's followed by 9 numbers. That's the identification number that the immigration system assigns to anyone that has had interaction with the immigration system, applied for any sort of benefit, form of relief, and that will be on any sort of documentation that USCIS, ICE, or the immigration courts have given you. That kind of documentation is going to be really useful to have and to give to a trusted loved one, along with those identification documents that I mentioned. Especially if you are detained by ICE, that will help a loved one and potentially an attorney be able to find you in detention. It's really difficult to find someone in detention with just your name alone. So having that A number along with those other important documents in a safe place, again, copies with someone that you trust, is going to be really important for this emergency preparedness plan. Additionally, if you have ever had any sort of encounter with our criminal system, any sort of record of those proceedings, including any sort of disposition information, that is going to be important to have copies of as well. And additionally, get that information to a trusted loved one too.
What should I do if I already have a removal order?
So every situation is different. So the best thing to do if you have a removal order is really to speak to an attorney about your individual situation. So at the immigration clinic, we've already put together a list of attorneys that are trusted in the DC area, or the DMV as we call it. So that's DC, Maryland, and Virginia. And that information can be found in our link tree. These are all private attorneys. They're alums of the clinic, and we trust that they do good work. And so these are resources that are available. If you are not in the DC area, however, you should do some research to find some trusted attorneys in your area and again, get an individualized consultation to see what can be done in your case. The other thing to consider is that not all immigration attorneys work with individuals who are in immigration detention. So that is something else to ask about when you are seeking help from an immigration attorney or you're looking for assistance for a loved one who is in immigration detention.
Thank you so much, Professor Vera. That's really helpful.
Thank you for having me to talk about this very important topic today.
It's also important to prepare documents related to your medical needs. In case you're detained, you want to make sure that you get proper health care in ICE detention. ICE has a health service corps that provides health care to people in ICE detention, but to get the care that you need, you should always keep a copy of important medical information on you. This includes any medical conditions or needs that you have, including prescription medication and their dosages, as well as the contact information for any of your doctors. You may want to consider signing a HIPAA release form for someone you trust to access your medical information if you're detained. Ask your healthcare provider how you can sign a HIPAA release form for someone you trust. Each healthcare provider has their own forms, so it's important to check with each provider. This can be an important step to make sure that you get the care that you need in detention, but it can also help you with your legal immigration case. Finally, ensure that you plan for your children's care. Make sure that you have important documents for each of your children in a safe place. This includes their medical records, school records, birth certificates, and any legal documents relating to your child. As with your own, you want to make sure that you keep originals in a safe place and make copies where a trusted person can access them. You also want to identify someone who can care for your children if you are detained. This could be a trusted family member or a friend who agrees to act as a caretaker for your children in case of an emergency. You also want to provide a trusted loved one with the names, addresses, and contact information for your children's schools, as well as any medical conditions or needs that they have. This includes prescription medication, allergies, and the contact information for their doctors. You may want to consult with an attorney about granting this person power of attorney for your child, which will allow them to make legal decisions for your child if you are detained. This preparation can be critical in case of an emergency like an ICE encounter. Stay safe and thank you for watching.